type of driver now.
Sardinia, tough, brutal course on the drivers. There is one team that is unbeatable here.
Oh, R.07 si è cappottata!
Back on four wheels, she's still going. The first hit right next Prix goes to Rosberg X Racing. Watch for the merge here, who's going to come out in front? Oh, concept, massive shot! I think that's R.07 into Sainz. R.07 is still running.
Hai vinto tu gli scorpassi all'interno per la testa della corsa.
Rosberg X Racing take victory here in Sardinia. R.07 at the back of the pack to take the win. That is incredible. Double win here for R.07. They are well and truly back in the title fight.
Sono inarrestabili.
Acciona Sainz still lead the championship. Can they hold on? Hello and welcome to Extreme E, where we are in Sardinia for the Island X Prix round 7 and 8 of the 2023 season. My name's Andrew Coley. Joining me this weekend is Jess Rogers.
Thank you, Andrew. Extreme E is racing for the planet. Each of the championship events is designed to not only have the very best off-road action in motorsport, but is also racing with a purpose, highlighting the big environmental issues we all face and celebrating the people finding solutions.
Gender equality is ingrained in Extreme E's DNA. Piloting these machines are driver pairings completely unique in motorsport, a 50-50 gender split. It's not just on track but off track too, where equality is a key focus. This weekend we will be celebrating those at the forefront of change, representing the future of sport.
It's a big weekend for the championship too. The Island X Prix always delivers massive drama, and this time, championship aspirations are at stake. Get it right, and you are in contention come Chile. But this course can bite back. Every corner will count, and dreams will crumble in the Sardinian heat.
Well, we started this season, of course, in Saudi Arabia. The winners of round 1, Veloce Racing. Then it was Acciona Sainz who won round 2. Double headers, of course. That was very much a desert event, and then up to somewhere a little bit wetter.
Yeah, we then moved on to Scotland. The terrain was mud and rocks for the Hydro X Prix back in May, and the winner was X44 Vida Carbon Racing.
Sardinia for the rounds 5 and 6. Rosberg X Racing, as you can see, double winners there. They've actually crossed the finish line here first every single time we've raced here. They had one of those victories taken away after that contact with Sainz. We're back in Sardinia, but the track is different. We'll show you the track in a minute. We've got a new start area. We've got some extra water splashes and jumps and things. So, yes, should be a fantastic weekend of action.
And the finale of Extreme E Season 3 will be in Chile. This is where the championship will be run. It's going to be mega, and it's back at Antofagasta in South America.
So here's another look at the beautiful island of Sardinia. Round 7 today, round 8 tomorrow. And yeah, looking forward to seeing there was a little graphic there telling us what was going on in the paddock. They were checking out how to get drivers out of electric cars. We've had some crashes, and we have had some crashes this weekend. Again, we'll show you some of that in a minute. Jess, you've been to Sardinia before on the other side of the event.
I have indeed. I've been there on the event side, looking at all of that, been involved in the sustainability bits, but absolutely buzzing to be in the commentary box with you today.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Should be absolutely fantastic. Now, we've had some brilliant racing all season already. If you've missed any of the action, then take a look at this and we will bring you bang up to speed.
Season 3 of Extreme E began on the picturesque shores of the Red Sea in Neom, Saudi Arabia.
Hammer down now, release the handbrake. Oh, it's in the water! Oh my God!
Everything okay?
Yes, it's fantastic.
No, not again! A third roll for Andretti!
After a brutal 2 days of racing, wins for Veloce and Acciona Sainz left them level at the top of the championship.
Vamos, Laya, que hemos ganado la carrera!
The scarred landscape of a former coal mine put the teams to the test when Scotland played host to the chaotic Hydro X Prix.
Contact and a roll! Absolutely huge crash! Timmy Hansen going to pass McConnell, pushes him out wide, and R.07 off the side of the road! Johan Christopherson!
After a tough battle in the final, X44 Vita Carbon Racing stayed out of trouble to claim the win in round 3. Round 4 brought some of the worst weather conditions in the championship's history.
Oh, no! Look at Christopherson, full opposite log.
However, Veloce maintained their composure to take their second win of the season and reclaim the championship lead.
Top step of the podium for Kevin Hansen and Molly Taylor.
Round 5 saw a return to stunning Sardinia for the Island X-Prix, and the grand final saw one of the most remarkable comeback drives in Extreme E history.
Christopherson into the side of the App Cupra. The RXR is going fully off-road, straight through the bushes on the outside of the track. Puncture for App Cupra. The rear left tyre is off the rim for Sebastian Loeb. Christopherson, looking after that off-track excursion, has come in P3.
That was the race. Yes.
Michaela Arling-Kotlinski slides. Oh, Munnings! They've gone from potentially taking the win to lying on their side in the dirt. This is wild.
Keep close, Michaela. Car 99 might have a penalty. Keep going.
Arling Kotlinski and Johan Christopherson with an incredible drive. A disaster at the start, and they come back to take the win in round 5.
In round 6, RXR was slow off the line again in the final.
Christopherson drops out, and this time it's Timmy Hansen who goes off-roading, and Christopherson comes from the back of the pack to the lead. How has he done that?
But passed for the lead in the opening moments this time to underline their dominance in Sardinia. And leaving them breathing down Axiona Sainz's neck at the top of the championship.
Absolutely brilliant work by RXR to get themselves back into contention. It's been a fantastic season for Axiona Sainz. As you can see, they're on 109 points. Rosberg X Racing now, though, on 105. There's just 4 points in it. Veloce still in the hunt as well. Basically, this weekend, you can't win the title, but some of these teams, Jess, are going to be in a position where they won't be able to win it next time. You'd be dropping out of that title fight.
Yeah, absolutely. In at 6th, there's Andretti Autokilo with 55 points and McLaren 44, Apt Cupra with 40 points. And at the bottom, lagging behind in 26 points each, you've got Carl Cox Motorsport and JBXE.
RXR then, they've crossed the line here first every single time we've raced. They had that one win taken away after the contact with Sainz in turn 1, but brilliant. It was, of course, it was Taylor and Christopherson in year 1. It's now Arling Kotlinski and Christopherson, and we caught up with them about that incredible double win last time here in Sardinia.
It feels really great, I mean, to take a double win here in Sardinia. Bring that home to the team again, and super important for the championship. We felt strong this weekend. I mean, Johan did, maybe the first start wasn't so good.
I had not the best initial takeoff from the line, but from there on I saw there was a gap opening on the right-hand side, and I carry a lot of speed. Exit off the first corner, so I managed to get up on the side of Matthias. Just on the crest here, I actually regret it a little bit because I knew that it's going to be super tight and there is not really space for 2 cars there. But me and Matthias made space for it, and fair play to him as well. The guys have done an amazing job. The car has been playful to drive. You know, we can't forget how many hours they put in during the weekend as well. I mean, we put in the hours of analyzing and driving, but the hours they put in, I mean, they leave the hotel earlier than us and they come back many hours after. When you win the first day, it's like you still have another day of racing to go, so you cannot really relax and, you know, enjoy the win. You know, preferably it's better to win on Sunday, but ideally is to win both. Exactly.
It is a very tight championship with good drivers and good teams.
It's really elbows out, and, you know, if you can stay out of trouble, that makes life so much easier for the team. There is still a lot of things to improve from our side as well, and it's really nice to see how the championship is improving in terms of competitiveness.
It's the first time that Nico is joining this year, so it was great to have him here and give a double win to him as well. He's always, you know, looking at every single possibility. Is there any developing opportunities? What can we do in the start? What can we do here? And I think that is the way the team is working as well, because in the end we all have equal cars, so we all have to be creative and find ways to get better all the time without taking a step in the total wrong way. So he's, you know, he's always there, making sure that we push ourselves to the limits.
Those tight lines, like, they were epic. They were like epic.
This weekend it's been useful information passed, you know, both ways in the switch. You only have a couple of seconds to communicate and You get to learn each other. Michaela almost doesn't even have to say anything. I know already how she feels and if she's happy or not.
Thank you, everyone. That is so amazing. What a start from you one. Amazing. Yes!
I mean, it's also nice. We live 45 minutes away from each other, so going to the event, we drive together to the airport and travel together. And I think maybe sometimes he's, I was just gonna say, I think sometimes he's a bit annoyed because I do feel like a little sister to him. He's actually very much like my brother, you know that.
These 2 wins has been a bit long coming, so yeah, really nice to try and enjoy this evening.
It takes so many things to get these highs. I definitely think that we should celebrate.
Extreme E has 20 of the best drivers on the planet with multiple championship titles to their names. A man who is as much at home on the track as he is on the dirt, winning the ultra-competitive DTM Championship, Timo Scheider is also a legend on the loose stuff and has played a key role in the growth of Extreme E, designing courses and developing the groundbreaking technology of the Odyssey 21.
My name is Timo Scheider. I'm racing for Cox Motorsport in Extreme E. So I got a go-kart for Christmas '88. So that's how everything started. Got to race the first time. We had just no money to get new tires. Well, we actually took some of our other tires out of trash and just put them on just to drive the next session. Luckily, everything built up a little bit and I became German kart champion. The attention I got back then was just enough to make the next step into single-seater car racing. Suddenly, there was a phone call coming from Benetton. We are interested to have you as a professional driver in Formula 3. Of course, the moment everything changed. Back in 2000, when the DTM era started, beside Formula 1, that was the way to go from my point of view. And then I signed the first full factory deal with Opel back in 2000, Audi in 2006, becoming then pretty quickly the DTM champion. Repeating this and becoming a champion right after my first title was very, very special because I'm still the third person in the entire career of DTM who achieved like a back-to-back championship title. Well, I got involved with the Extreme E actually, it's like 3.5, 4 years ago when James Taylor called me. Basically, the question was, Timo, you have so many different backgrounds, circuit racing, off-roading, like World Rallycross. Would you mind to try to design our racetrack? And I was like, well, give it a try. It's a new challenge. I like challenges. And I remember so well the very first moment when I had done the first layout. There was like one steep uphill section into a super steep downhill section. Everyone said like, you can't do that. That's way too dangerous. Till the moment I said like, step out of the car. I'm doing it. I just went down this dune and it was like the moment when Extreme E came into life. Because I'm an official championship driver now for Cox Motorsport and he's such a nice person. I was so positive, overwhelmed of the energy he has and how much passion he has for racing. I didn't expect that at all, to be honest. To be his driver feels just great. It's super difficult to get a clean way in motorsport. If you want to join, you have to pay a lot of money. And nowadays, it's getting even more and more difficult. All my way in motorsport was kind of a challenge. I had the feeling just to give something back. I start new projects, like I've done my own car team just to support new young drivers because I like the challenge to give something back from all that I have got and with all the experience I have got to just pass it on to other people. Well, my future actually target should be like to be happy as long as I am on this planet. And I'm so thankful for every opportunity I've got. You can fall, but you have to stand up one more time. I think that's my credo for my entire life. So let's see what the future brings.
Oh, we've got some amazing drivers on track, haven't we? Absolutely world class. And of course, 50% of them are female. Now, this weekend, we are shining a spotlight on one of the founding principles of Extreme E. That is gender equality. And yes, we have brilliant female drivers on track. We also have amazing women off track who make these events possible. They make them happen. I'm about to introduce 3 of them to you who make the event safe and are at the forefront of technology as well. Dr. Leanne Scholten and Julia Sawyer join me now. Dr. Leanne Scholten of MDD. Talk to us about your role, what it involves.
Yeah, so I'm the Medical Services Director for this event, and at Extreme E we race at remote locations. So we have our own medical center with 2 ICU beds, and together with the MDD extrication team, they will sit in this vehicle. We work closely together with the local doctors, ambulance services and helicopter crew to make this event safe.
Exactly, and keep our drivers safe as well. And Julia, for you, explain your role. Safety advisor, what does that entail?
Hey Laura, nice to see you. It entails just making sure basically we're sort of, if you like, the glue that brings everyone together and sticks together. I look at all of the compliance issues right from the very beginning when we first arrive on site. So whether it's looking at the plant and machinery and how compliant they are and safe for people to drive around site, right to where we are now when we've got people being shown around site, making sure that the cars that are coming in out of the paddock are not interfering with anybody whilst they're working in the paddock, and looking at crowd flows and with the other activities that happen on site, making sure that we all mould together nicely.
God, it's a huge amount, isn't it? And Leanne, we are in some of the most extreme locations in the world. How does that impact the frontline response?
Yeah, so that's really, really important to just see, okay, where are we going? What are the facilities? Which hospitals? How long it will take for the ambulances to get a patient there? How long it will take the helicopter? So we really need to pre-plan this event, and that's the most, I think, exciting thing to be the coordinator of it all. Yeah.
Well, we're definitely in very safe hands with you two. Thank you very much, Leanne. Thank you, Julia. We're going to head now to Continental. I talked about technology, of course, and these are the tyres that all of the Odysseys run on. And we're joined now by Jana. Jana, just explain your role within Continental and what impact you have out there.
I'm the tyre developer, actually. So I was developing with my team this tyre for the race series.
Incredible stuff. What data are you collecting from locations such as this, terrain that we're racing on here?
So we are checking on site for sure tire pressure and temperature. I think that's the most important thing to ensure that the tire is in a proper condition when they start racing. But we are also collecting data in terms of, okay, what's the wear, so how is the tire developing during a race weekend, and analyzing it and then taking this information back home to the headquarters and considering it in our developments. I mean, not only for this race season, it's also for the standard pass car tires or serial production for what all the customers can buy in the end.
Exactly. The work we see here, you will see on the roads as well, wherever you are at home. Thank you very much indeed to you, Jana.
Thank you.
Extreme E's race locations are chosen carefully based on the story they tell about climate change. In 3 seasons, the championship has travelled to the likes of Greenland, reporting on melting glaciers, Senegal to spotlight rising sea levels, and Neom in Saudi Arabia to highlight desertification. This round, we're racing in Sardinia, which has experienced a summer of soaring temperatures, causing wildfires to rage across the island. This is not only isolated to Sardinia, it is a problem that is plaguing the whole planet.
Over the last year or so, wildfires have become an extremely potent symbol of climate change, and we're seeing them across all parts of the planet. And we've got to ask ourselves the question how we reached this point. Humans have raised CO2 values 50% above their pre-industrial level. When it comes to CO2 concentrations, a 50% increase in that span of time is unprecedented in the Earth's history. The increased concentrations of carbon dioxide have led to rising temperatures and records being broken all across the world in all of the continents. In July this year, 21 of the 30 hottest days ever recorded occurred. And to top that, July 2023 was the hottest month on record. As a result of these statistics, the UN now refers to the condition as global boiling rather than global warming. These records that we're seeing in temperatures lead to extreme heat and drought, and that, together with enhanced evaporation, creates the perfect conditions for wildfires. It's very likely that we're just seeing the very start of this phenomenon. Predictions are for a 14% increase in wildfires by 2030 and a 50% increase by 2100. The devastation that accompanies any one of those fires is barely imaginable. The loss of biodiversity, productive agricultural land, residential areas, impacts on human health, impacts on air quality, and of course, probably most cruelly of all at the global level, the release of CO2, further CO2 into the atmosphere. Wildfires are one hell of a wake-up call for us to pull together, to come to our senses, to sort things out. And there's no question the race is on, and we've got to look to all sorts of measures to get those solutions in place fast. Sporting frontiers achieve the impossible quite regularly. That's why we tune in and watch things. We watch records being broken. But we've got very special records to break now, and those records are bound up with the effort that we've got to put in to sorting things out.
Right, let's take a look then at the track for this weekend's action. First thing you'll see is the start is different. So they're not using the lanes, which we used to use over on the right-hand side. The lanes are as you come out of the switch zone. Now the start goes over the finish, over a jump, and down to a tight right-hander for turn one. It's going to be very tricky indeed for the drivers, I think. Continental Traction Challenge around the back part of the track there, Jess.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where teams can actually get an extra 2 points per round, which is so important, isn't it?
When you look at the top of the standings, the gap's only 4 between RXR and Acciona Science. Acciona Science have actually won one of the Continental Traction Challenges at each of the venues we've been to this year. So they've had 6 points on it. If they hadn't had that, they wouldn't be leading the standings. So that is how important it is. But keen to see the changes here. We've also got a couple of very big water splashes, which they've given a very posh name to.
They have indeed. They are called Aqua Grande, which I know you love, don't you, Andrew?
Water splash. But yeah, Aqua Grande, to be fair, Grande is about right. They're really big, and the drivers are talking about what an effect they're going to have on the car. The retardation of speed is pretty unbelievable when you go into that deep water quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's set to be a great track. It's a different track. But if you're new to XE, if you're new to Extreme E, then you're about to see how it works. It's epic. You are in for a right treat. So let's have a look at how Extreme E works. It's a cracker.
Extreme E is a fully electric off-road racing championship consisting of 10 world-class teams made up of 1 male and 1 female driver. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV with a driver changeover, the switch, halfway through. Each driver gets an Inoa hyperdrive boost in every session, and there are bonus points for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge section of the course. First up, it's qualifying, where everybody races twice in a bid to finish as high as possible in the qualifying standings. Then it's time to earn some championship points. From qualifying, the bottom 5 teams go into the redemption race, while the top 5 proceed to the grand final and compete to win the Prix and lift the trophy. It's a season-long battle, 10 rounds, 1 champion. So our first big news here came from free practice. This is Emma Gilmore from the McLaren squad, and look at this. It is an absolutely massive shunt, and the car shed all the bodywork immediately. The good news is you can see the safety structure of the Odyssey 21 stood up really very well. There isn't any damage to the roll cage there at all, the safety cell in which the driver sits. So here, look, doesn't hit the ground too heavily on the roof, maybe top right corner, but it's a proper washing machine of a roll. Now, Emma was heli to hospital for checks. She's got a fractured rib, and unfortunately she won't be taking part this weekend. So Tamara Molinaro, the championship driver, stands in for Emma. We're going to head down to the paddock. Laura Winter has got the very latest updates ahead of Q1.
Welcome to the paddock here for round 7 of Extreme E in Sardinia, the Island Prix, and we are live right now in the Acciona Science garage ahead of qualifying, which is fast approaching. Acciona Science championship leaders Matthias Ekström joins me now. That sounds pretty good, doesn't it? What's the mindset coming in here?
Yeah. Nice to be in the lead, but everybody knows it doesn't really matter until the last race is done. So it's just another race weekend. We feel we have a good flow from yesterday's practice. So high hopes for today, and as always, we'll do our best.
We look forward to seeing you out there. Thank you, Mateus. Best of luck to you. Normally, Friday is a day for free practice. It's a day for drivers, teams to get accustomed to the track here, to the course here. And of course, they know well, having been to Sardinia a few times. Yesterday, though, Emma Gilmore had an enormous crash and roll in the McLaren. They have taken the championship car. Emma is unfortunately out for this weekend. We wish her all the very best in her recovery. And Tina Gade, lead performance engineer, joins me now. What a job you've had to do on this car. Firstly, though, how's Emma doing?
She's doing very well. She's in good spirits. Obviously, we're disappointed she's not with us this weekend now, and she's really disappointed not to be with us too.
And how is the car? How's the car looking?
So the car's looking good. Yep, we had a bit of a late night last night, putting some new bits and parts on it, but hopefully we're going to be all good to go this morning. We got a bit unlucky yesterday with some problems. Really unfortunate it was. It was nothing that would you expect would happen. So a bit disappointed if missed yesterday.
And how is Tamara Molinaro feeling? She's replacing Emma, of course.
Yeah, so it's great to have Tamara with us. I think it's going to be a good opportunity for her as well. And obviously, she's been thrown into it, so she's got a difficult job. She needs to learn basically fast and how the team works and so on. But she's settled in well. She's been asking lots of questions, and hopefully we'll be giving her the support she needs.
Great stuff. And as the championship driver, she knows the championship car very well. Best of luck to McLaren. Here we go then. It is time for some racing. Q1, Heat 1, coming up.
Great to see Tamara Molinaro getting into the championship car. Not obviously, we want to send our very best to Emma Gilmore, who I know will be desperately disappointed. Yeah, trying so hard yesterday, she was absolutely flying, and then the shunt. So, but likewise, say nice to see Tamara get an opportunity in the car as well, and good to see McLaren have worked really hard on that car all night. They actually are using the championship car, which Laura hinted at, so they've taken the spare car because the damage on the McLaren car was considered to be too much to repair in time. So yes, that's what they're doing, and they actually had a problem with the car yesterday as well. It was underweight in FP2, so they got disqualified from that as well. So hoping for a better day today. We're going to go down to the command centre. We're going to have a catch-up with Andreas Backrud, who I can see down there is getting himself ready to get in with JBXE. Andreas, good morning, mate. How are we feeling, and what's the vibe down there in Sardinia?
Good morning, first of all. No, it's good. It's not as warm as it was yesterday. It's hard to know, really, on the track, because they have water a lot. We struggled with dust yesterday, and us the drivers, we don't know how much water it is going to be. That's the unique part about Extreme E. We don't know.
3 minutes.
Okay, so it's going to be slippery probably, and you guys are going to be feeling your way around that first lap. Tell us about these new water splashes, Andreas. I gather they're pretty big, wide, and fairly deep.
They are indeed. The first water splash is huge, massive, and you're going to have to be on your wipers before you get in there. That's very crucial for visibility. Also, we haven't driven against others into the water splashes, but I'm sure that the first guy is going to stop completely up, and whoever is second, third needs to kind of check up as well. But the second water splash isn't too bad. It's pretty fast, flat out over it, and yeah, it shouldn't be any problem.
So what you're telling us then is this first lap is going to be total exploration for everybody who heads out there. We just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's what Extreme E is all about.
Brilliant, mate. We can't wait. And how's things at JBXE? All good for you guys?
Yeah, it's all good. I mean, we have taken a few steps. We've done a few changes. We're trying to take a few steps in the right direction. We had some issues yesterday in the practice, so we are a little bit uncertain where we are right now, but we're going to push as hard as we can. And I told Hedda this morning, you only have one job, and that's to take that start, and then you can start doing the next work after that,
Awesome, mate. Well, look, we wish you and Hedda the best of luck. Have a good day.
Thank you. The same.
So there we go, thoughts from Andreas Backrud, mentioning his teammate Hedda Hozos. This is the Aqua Grande, that's the quick one. So that's the one I think that's later in the lap. The bigger one looks like this one here, yeah. Is this the bit, let's have a look. Yeah, deep, really slows the cars down. There's a Santa Elena, which delivers the cars, of course, to these fantastic venues. And we are about ready to go racing for Q1.
Okay, everyone.
Stand by for the start of the Island X Prix. Qualifying round 1, heat 1, is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Love this bit, Jess. This is where the tension starts to build.
Yeah, absolutely. This command center, it's like something from like a futuristic, I don't know, like space station, isn't it? It's so serious.
It is. It's not for the drivers. Yeah, hanging out with the people that you then got to go door to door without on track can be tricky stuff. That is your grid. See Chip Ganassi raced over on the right-hand side. Then we've got JBXE in the middle. We've got the McLaren team with Molinaro standing in for Emma Gilmore, and that championship car being prepped by them. And then you've got Acciona Sainz in slot number 4. Right out on the outside of the grid, Carl Cox Motorsport. Only Hedda Hozos is in of the female drivers. Sorry, Tamara Molinaro as well in the McLaren. So Molinaro and Hozos in. Oh, McLaren's been left on the line. That's an absolute disaster for them. Really slow start by Molinaro. Everybody else using that Inoa hyperdrive on the run down to turn 1. Timo Scheider with the biggest jump on the inside line, now going to come across and try and hold on as they turn into the right-hander. Andreas Backer saying how slippery it was. His teammate is trying to come around the outside. Hozos through the bushes on the left-hand side of the track. Look how slippery it is there, coming up towards the left hand. You can see them back in Ekstrom having a look up the inside of Timo Scheider. But it is Timo Scheider who leads for Carl Cox Motorsport from Matthias Ekstrom in that championship fight. R.J. Anderson is in there in the Chip Ganassi racing machine, then Hedda Hozos for JBXE. Molinaro hasn't used the Inoa hyperdrive, so that will help them gather up a bit of that lost time, but bad start for them.
Yeah, was it just because they didn't use the hyperdrive at Molinaro there, or was it just a bad start overall?
Well, yeah, not sure. And they could be using it for the traction challenge later on in the lap. So if you go for that, the extra championship points, I would suggest, with not being in the fight, maybe not. But Ekstrom there coming up in tight behind. Look at the mud over the top of the screen. Visibility absolutely terrible. They've actually doubled the size of the water bottle on the cars, so it's gone up from 3.5 to 7 litres, which means you can use the wipers more. Yeah, you can use the wipers more, because we can see how imperative using those wipers is going to be. I mean, just from the dust, from the water, the visibility can be so poor in these cars. But good that they've doubled the water supply, so they can use them even more. And my goodness, aren't they going to need to? So a lot of pressure here from Ekstrom up front. They've been having a good weekend so far in terms of the times. They've been in the top 3 times in FP1 and FP2. So have RXR, locked in that championship fight. Patrick O'Donovan, championship driver, is on site and able to bring us a bit of insight, hopefully, as we see the cars in the distance, trying to see if Ekstrom's making a move on Scheider. Ekstrom is in really close. We'll come to Patrick in a minute, because Ekstrom is piling the pressure onto Timo Scheider. He takes a different line now, heads across the left-hand side, trying to go up the inside line. You can see him there. That's on board with Ekstrom as Scheider gets sideways, coming around to complete their first lap. Remember, it'll be 2 laps for each of these drivers. Ekstrom in behind, still piling the pressure on, trying to find a way through. He's almost alongside Scheider. Looks to the inside contact, runs up the back of Scheider. Somehow goes through, takes the rear corner off the Carl Cox Motorsport machine. Scheider back alongside now. R.J. Anderson there to pick up the pieces, and there are literally pieces on the track. Ekstrom sliding back into P2, and R.J. Anderson now. These 3 cars are within literally half a second of each other. This is so close.
Oh my days, Timo Scheider. Oh, and you can see more just flying off. There is debris all over the track. I mean, that is like hard enough as it is, trying to see through the mud, see through the water, and now see through pieces of flying car. Look, so close there round that corner. Timo Scheider, we saw that he's involved in the making of these cars. He's doing a cracking drive, isn't he?
He's out front doing very well indeed, but with that, look, missing rear right bodywork. Ekstrom having made that contact. R.J. Anderson is right there. There is a chance there'd be a bit of damage for these guys. That's what we're talking about with the speed coming down. Look at how that sucked the speed out. Yeah. So that time round, Scheider gets through the water splash quickly, just gets a little bit of a gap. Patrick, tell us about those water splashes, mate. You've been doing some test laps, I know, in the Odyssey 21. What's the key to them?
So I think the key to the water splashes there is just to take them absolutely flat out. From what we've seen, obviously you're going to hit the water splash, it will slow you down, it'll kill the momentum, but you've just got to keep the throttle absolutely pinned wide open to try and get the best time through it.
And can you surf through them at all, mate? Can you pick them up? I know sometimes if you hit the water hard enough, you can kind of surf the car on the underguards. Does that work, or is it always going to get sucked into the water?
I think you can surf the car in the second one because it's a little bit shorter, but you know, the first water splash, it's just so big. By the time the car's gone into it, you've still got another 3 or 4 meters until the exit. So that one really slows you down. It will definitely make some interesting overtakes there, I think.
So, of course, Patrick O'Donovan is our male championship driver. The female championship driver, Tamara Molinaro, has been put into the McLaren after Emma's crash yesterday. I reckon Emma might well be watching, so if she is, hello Emma, drop us a line, let us know how you're getting on. We're all rooting for you to get back in the car, of course. Oh, look at this.
Very close.
Yeah, almost. Well, they are side by side, so Ekstrom right in with Timo Scheider, absolutely no gap. And we've got Chip Ganassi Racing as well coming in. Hedda Hozos is right with them too for JBXC. We didn't see much of that. She's just 6.7 back. And Molinaro was 16.6 according to... Yeah, probably about right, looking at them coming into the switch zone. So 45 seconds now. Although they're side by side because of where they are in the various switch zones, that's worked out. So they'll now try and get this done as quick. They can't go less than 45. Oh! Leah Block takes a tumble as she runs around to get in the car with Scheider. Even the switch zone's slippery.
It's very slippery, especially the last one.
So you can hear, so that's Ekstrom. Oh, he really did monster the rear of that car. I reckon Scheider checked up more than Ekstrom thought he was getting, because Ekstrom's a class act, and he wouldn't run into Scheider on purpose. Here it is, it comes to the inside, yeah. He wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
And you can hear in the background, we can actually hear Timo giving Leah some tips on the grip levels.
And Leah, I mean, she's only 16, isn't she? And so, like, doing these switches, it's all pretty new to her. She's new to Extreme E this year.
Yeah, she is. She's a fantastic driver. Oh, out. Santa's got out in front. So Elias Santa's got out in front of Carl Cox Motorsport, I think. Now, they're side by side, but this time with the advantage to Acciona Sainz. So Leah Block right in behind Laia Sands. Then you've got Amanda Sorensen coming through. And McLaren have a 30-second penalty, remember, for switching to the championship car. So they will have to sit at a standstill in the switch zone, unfortunately, for 30 seconds. I wonder if, with knowing that that was going to be the penalty, if maybe they sat at the start just to not get involved in anything in turn one. It's going to be a tough weekend for them coming back from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is qualifying one, and you get a point for winning the qualifying. So it's super important, not just to get through to the grand final, but, you know, those extra points make all the difference.
Particularly for the likes of Acciona Sainz. So
yeah,
the fact that one extra championship point for them edges the gap out by one. We've had this title has been drawn before, as in they finished on drawn points, then it goes back to the number of wins. There's look at the water splash.
Much easier to go through that when you're on your own, though, instead of having everyone around you.
It is. Well, you can see that there on the onboard on the left-hand side with Amanda Sorensen in the number 99. That's the Chip Ganassi Racing Hummer EV.
Leah Block
lost position. So, oh no, she hasn't. Sorry, no, she had, my bad. So Block coming through the water splash now with the whole of the rear end of the bodywork missing from that contact. There is literally nothing left on the back of that car. So she's doing well to go with Sands. Remember, Laia Sands has got 3 seasons of experience in this car. This is Leah Block's second event.
Yeah, that is absolutely wild. And just all the mechanics around it, like doing the switch, and just the way it all works. It's so different from anything else Extreme E. And she just has thrown herself in. She was getting faster and faster the last time we were in Sardinia, wasn't she? And so she'll probably be glad to be back. Timo.
Yeah, Scheider's looking very happy here. You see him and Matthias Ekstrom, old DTM sparring partners, stood side by side. Track conditions are going to change all day. There we can see a really dusty corner. You heard Andreas Backerd say earlier that they'd had to water the track a fair bit for the dust. That's pretty standard track preparation. Look how wide it is here as well. Leah Block is closing the gap down here on Laia Sands in front of her with a lap to go. So Leah Block looking extremely good here for Carl Cox Motorsport.
And
they've gapped Sorensen by just a little bit. Super close.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Amanda Sorensen has just used her Anoa Hyperdrive. She's the first one to use it on this kind of the second part of the race, and they all get to use it once, and it's about 4 seconds of extra speed.
I reckon most will save it for the Continental Traction Challenge. You know, it's an extra 100 kilowatts of power for 4 seconds. So I think most people will save it and use it in that section. Yesterday we were hearing potentially waypoint 3 and waypoint 5 were 2 good places that the drivers were discussing they might use it. You just saw waypoint 1, which is effectively turn 1.
Oh,
there we go.
Well, there we go.
And straight into the traction challenge, you can see it immediately. So Laia Sands deployed hers. Leah Block looks like she's going to wait until later in the lap, so the gap goes up to 1.85. Here's the big water splash.
Oh, God, the water off that. It's a good few seconds you can't see for.
Carl Cox Motorsport leading the traction challenge at the minute. A little bit of handbrake there on board with Laya Sands, but still the car runs deep on the exit. Through the smaller splash. And now the hyperdrive for Baccarat. So Baccarat's using the hyperdrive quite late. He's running a few seconds back, only 6 seconds back, so he is using it in the traction challenge section. Leah Block has got to use that before the end of the lap. If she doesn't use her Renault hyperdrive, I believe they'll get a penalty. So you do have to use it. I'm surprised she didn't use it in that section, and the gap has gone up to a little bit, 2.6 down to 2.4, so closes another couple of tenths. Have they got somewhere in mind that they think they can make up a bit more time?
Yeah, interesting she didn't use it there. We expect to use it kind of any moment now. I mean, that's McLaren using theirs there.
They're way back. They're 42 seconds back. So that's Tanner Faust almost certain. Yeah, he is. So look at the track map and you can see he's in the yellow section, bottom right of the screen. And there goes Leah Block. So Leah Block deploys her hyperdrive right at the end and actually closes a fair bit through that long sweeping left-hander. That's where yesterday Gilmore had the crash. But Acciona signed to take the first qualifying race win here. With that, a championship point. Leah Block holding on in P2. Her and Timo Scheider. That's a fantastic result for Carl Cox Motorsport. Sorensen and Anderson get P3. JBXE going to get P4. And Neil McLaren, tough start to the weekend with that crash. And P5 in this. They're going to have some work to do in Q2.
Yeah, absolutely. But qualifying one, we're underway here in Sardinia.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty good race. Carl Cox Motorsport, it's their first season, and that was just pretty epic by Scheider and Block, I have to say.
Yeah, I think so too. Scheider came under a lot of pressure. Here's Faust, just looking at the championship car. Doesn't seem to be a lot wrong with that in terms of, yeah, and in fact, Faust has gone quickest. Faust has gone quickest in Sector 2. So Tanner Faust has got the quickest time in the Continental Traction Challenge. Looking at my timing screen, we can see that here. He's also gone fastest in Sector 3. So it looks like the Neil McLaren car is up to speed at least. They'll have to have made a ton of changes to that to get it from the standard specification. They're all the same cars, but you can change the setup, and there will be lots of little tweaks that McLaren have made. So they will have had to work to get that car how they want it. The championship car is not set up for a specific team. So it looks quick. We're going to be able to head down to the command centre in a minute and have a catch-up with the main man from Acciona Sainz, Carlos Sainz, of course, the team boss. Now, Carlos was driving for his own team the last couple of seasons. He's got Matthias Ekstrom in the car this season, and things have been going pretty well, and that is a very, very good start to the weekend. We're going to go and have a catch-up with him. Here we go. Carlos Sainz, you're back with the team here in Sardinia, and it looks like you're a lucky charm because that's a great start to the weekend, isn't it? A lot of pressure there, but got the job done.
Yeah, really exciting race. You could see how equal all the teams are, and yeah, happy obviously with the P1, with the result. It is extremely important with this new format to have a good, clean first quali, and this is what we had, so very pleased.
How do you feel standing there watching as team boss? Because we all know you still compete yourself. It's a different sensation, isn't it? How is it?
Yeah, it's quite different. It is difficult sometimes, but you know, at the end of the day, it is also very interesting. Obviously, I try to look into every small details to help the drivers, to give all the information to the drivers that can help them to go quicker. And it is really nice to work with Matthias and with Laia, and the whole team is doing a great job.
Fantastic, great stuff, and a good start to your weekend. What's more nerve-wracking, standing there in the command centre or being on the start line?
Definitely, it is more difficult for me to be here because you feel like you cannot do anything, but at the same time you trust a lot the drivers. But you know, when the race is very close, it's not so easy to understand exactly what is going on.
Fantastic, Carlos. Thank you so much, and the best of luck for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Carlos Sainz, what an absolute legend. I love the fact that he's feeling the pressure stood in the command centre as much as he does when he's in the car. Laura Winter is down in the paddock, as always, reporting for us, and she is with Leah Block, who just did a fantastic job with Carl Cox Motorsport, coming in 1.9 seconds behind the winners.
Oh, it was a great start from Timo Scheider, wasn't it? But this girl brought it home. Leah Block.
Yes, it was.
Oh, okay, Timo. I jumped out my skin then. Oh, my goodness me. Leah, just sum it up. That final stint from you.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't see anything half the time. Thankfully, Timo got us in a good spot from the start. Unfortunately, didn't get out in front from the switch bay, but, you know, a second is a second, so I'll take it.
Second's a great way to start up the day. Some damage to the car, though. There was a fair bit of water coming in, wasn't there, for you?
Yeah, I felt a little water in my face. I was like, what is going on? There's dirt. It's a lot. It's really fun, though.
And how much are you enjoying? Obviously, this is now your second race weekend, your third race here. How much are you enjoying just settling into the team, the car, and the vibe here at Extreme E?
I mean, I'm much more comfortable this time around. I know the car, and I know mostly how this works, so it's much more fun for me this time.
You're able to really send it?
Yeah, hopefully in the next heat, too.
Yeah, what's the mindset going into that one, then?
Just hopefully get a good start and go from there.
We'll see what happens. Thank you very much indeed to you, Leah. Well done. Great work.
Leah Block all fired up after a brilliant result. Timo Scheider having a look at the back of the car and wondering, well, he knows what happened. It was contact with his old DTM mate, Matthias Ekstrom. Here it is. Have a look at this. So Scheider just checks up a little bit earlier than Ekstrom, and Ekstrom say he isn't ready for it. He's so close behind, and then you get wheel-on-wheel contact. That launches Ekstrom in the air. He actually does well to get that turned in because he's hammering into the corner a good few clicks quicker than he wants to be going because he hasn't had the retardation of the brake. So watch this, look. He cuts to the inside, and then Timo checks up, he gets launched, holds on, thinks hello, and actually Scheider got back alongside him. The pass was made in the switch zone, which is pretty mad. Okay. Confirmation of the result from Q1 race 1. P5 for McLaren, they were left on the start line, unfortunately. It's a good run by JVXC, not far behind. Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing were right on it as well, but it was a battle between those front two teams. Carl Cox Motorsport getting P2, and the first win of the day goes to Acciona Sainz. Great start. Good start to the day. Yeah, how you finding it then?
Woo! Well, I mean, a bit like Carlos Sainz. He's a bit nervous out there, you know. Me and Carlos
and a bit like Leah Block. It's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's no water coming into the commentary box,
no water,
which is a good thing.
Just what's coming out of your mouth, Andrew. But no, it's good fun. And what a first race. It's all happening. Loved it.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. There is Santa Elena, ready to take us on to our final destination, but plenty more racing to come here in Sardinia. Right, we can take another look at that first qualifying race, this time a bit more calmly, and figure out exactly what happened. So McLaren on the start line, if they were waiting, personally, I think they'd have gone sooner than that. You know, if you're trying to stay out of trouble in turn one, or if they knew they were testing something on the car, because look at Faust's pace, and to be fair, Molinaro's pace as well. We didn't get to see much at Tamara on that first lap. But the car's clearly okay because Faust has got 2 of the quickest sector times, so not quite sure why they were left on the start line. We'll see what we can find out. I'll drop them a message and see what we can find out. Brilliant battle out front.
Yeah, it just was. I mean, the whole time they were in contention next to each other, and it was so interesting. I mean, even after that big kind of shunt, it didn't stop them. Do you know what I mean? They just carried on. They were head-to-head, even in the switch. Oh, I mean, look, there it goes again. It was just so well. Acciona just nipping past, and then just from then on, the rest of the laps, it really was neck and neck. But RJ Anderson behind and Amanda Sorensen, both Americans for Chip Ganassi, they were really in contention too. So points out for first qualifying run. You get the extra point as well for winning that. So, you know, Acciona Sainz really got off to a perfect first start, and that extra point will help them in the overall championship standings.
Certainly will. Decent fight going on, isn't it? And I love the fact that RXR and Acciona Sainz are both right in the mix this weekend in terms of the lap times. Yeah, I hope it goes down to the final round. I really do. I hope it goes down to the final round.
I mean, RXR did win both times when we were last here in July, and so Acciona Sainz, I'm sure, are going to be trying to ruin that party of RXR. More bodywork coming off there. I mean, there's going to be a fair amount of work to do on these cars to get them ready for their second qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, the clamshell on the rear isn't too much to change. Oh, that was Leah Brock just slipping over on the way into the car.
Well, it's stressful, these switch zones.
Well, it's
45
seconds. Yeah, you can't leave that zone at the side there until the car is into neutral, and then when the car goes back into drive, that's when the clock stops. 3 times this year, we've had people penalised. 2 of them, I think, maybe all 3, have lost teams a win from leaving too early from the switch zone. And we're talking tenths of seconds, so you've got to be bang on. But when you look and see how close the 2 teams were leaving, that's why you've got to get it bang on. Every tenth counts. Basically, the pass was made there by about half a second in the switch zone. Leah said, we didn't quite get out on time. They came in half a car in front, they went out half a car behind. That's 0.5 of a second. So that's why the teams are so keen on leaving bang on 45.00. But of course, if you risk it too much and you go early, then you get a whacking great penalty.
Yeah,
so
it's a hard line.
It's a high pressure moment, and that's why she's got to run to get in the car. You can't saunter over. You need every second you can get to get those belts on, get yourself geared up and good to go. It's a good start to the weekend. Hopefully a few places to pass out on track. I think where Ekstrom was having a look at passing was a good place. I think there's potential for some overtaking out on track, definitely. So on board, this is through the water splash. Look at that. And you can see the steering input. So that's all feel. The steering input there is all feel as to what the car's doing underneath you, whether it's understeer or oversteering, because you're not doing that on site. So when you can't see, watch in the background, watch the Acciona science machine coming in here. So this is Ekstrom coming in. Watch, look at the water. Cannot see anything. We don't actually see the lock, but he's got a ton of steering lock on there. You can see a load of opposite lock because the car was still sliding across the left-hand side.
You're literally blind for a fair few seconds.
It's actually worse after as well. So now you've got a wet screen and you're getting roosted by dry dust. So effectively, it's
going to stick to it. Yeah, it's absolutely wild, that.
So the 10 teams that race in Extreme E hail from all across the world of motorsport. A real mixture of brand new teams competing alongside established names with histories spanning decades, taking their expertise from completely different championships to apply it for our race for the planet. Now, Emma Gilmore, of course, you'll know, is out this weekend, unfortunately injured during free practice 1. But we caught up with the papaya powerhouses McLaren.
Motorsport giants McLaren joined Extreme E in Season 2. Their name is synonymous with racing success. However, the series was a new dawn for a team never before involved in an off-road championship.
The name McLaren is like motoring royalty.
A team like McLaren brings a lot of weight. It's not just a brand, it's a legacy.
60-year anniversary is an awesome event for McLaren that we're, of course, celebrating this year. I think these racing cars represent our history, but the building and the people inside it very much represent our future. And that's one of being known for being pioneering, innovative, all things that are very consistent with the reasons why we've joined Extreme E. Every racing series we have has a purpose, and so as we look at our sustainability credentials, we felt that the Extreme E series was very complementary.
Being part of McLaren and part of the family, it's a much bigger team than just our Extreme E. You have the IndyCar, you have the Formula One, you have the Formula E, and then the virtual racing as well, so it's really, really special.
Walking down the boulevard at the McLaren Technology Center, it's like walking through time in motorsport, and there's so much heritage, so many stories built into every one of these cars. McLaren has been competitive for many decades, and certainly to stay competitive and to stay relevant for decades into the future, you have to embrace whatever the new technology is. If we were all in Jetsons flying cars at this point, I'm sure there'd be a great McLaren Jetson flying machine. But EV is the way of the future, and so McLaren embracing the sustainability story just shows that they're here to stay.
Tanner's a great racing driver who's got a great history. He's a great personality as well.
When I was on the phone with Zach about doing McLaren, I asked about the female driver. He said that they were considering Emma Gilmore.
Growing up, I never ever imagined that my name would become associated with it. It really does feel like a fairy tale at times to be part of this.
We select our drivers on who we think are the best drivers that we can get in our racing car, and we thought Emma fit that category. We have a lot of diversity in our racing team around all of McLaren racing, but certainly in Extreme E. Lena and Tina, who run the team from an engineering performance point of view, have been awesome.
When I joined McLaren as their first female driver, I was really impressed with how many females there were throughout the team. I think that female inclusion has always sort of been there and growing. The goal for Tanner and I with Extreme E is to be winning races. We definitely want that first place trophy to add to the trophy cabinet.
Emma and I have accomplished a lot of the goals that we set out to accomplish. We do have a small piece of this massive trophy collection that McLaren has, and so we are represented out there. We just want to have our own chest in this beautiful collection and something that will be here forever.
Tactics play a huge part in Extreme E, as championship points can come from lots of different places. The orange section of the track we're looking at now is the Continental Traction Challenge, and this part of the course is where speed and time is of the essence. A team's run through this all-important sector can be where championship rounds are won or lost. This round, the Traction Challenge has been made even more difficult with the addition of a double water splash, Aqua Grande. Let's find out more. The Continental Traction Challenge is a designated section of the course where the teams can earn critical championship points by setting the fastest time through this sector in each round of the series. True to Extreme E's gender equal split in the driver lineups, the winner of the Continental Traction Challenge is the team with the fastest combined time of both male and female drivers.
X44 Vida Carbon Racing have nicked the Continental Traction Challenge.
Well done, Chris. Great race. That was amazing.
Drivers can post a time in any competitive session of the X-Prix, and the winning team will be awarded 2 championship points. With fierce competition in Extreme E's paddock for Season 3 and a total of 20 points up for grabs across the 10 races, the Continental Traction Challenge is critical to any team's title aspirations.
X44, Vida Carbon Racing, they have the Continental Traction Challenge. That could prove crucial for this championship.
Well, race 2 in qualifying this morning here in Sardinia is fast approaching, and it's a big warm welcome back once again to Sebastian Loeb, 9-time rally champion, of course defending champion in Extreme E as well, and here racing once again for Abt Cooper. What is it about this team and indeed this sport that kept you coming back?
I'm happy to be back. I had good fun with the car and with the team last time in Sardinia, so I decided to join the team again. I think they're really professional. The car was good. I think we have a good setting, so hopefully we will be competitive today.
Great stuff. Thank you very much indeed to you, Seb. Best of luck to him and Clara. Quite the partnership. And I was speaking to Clara earlier in the week, and she was saying that Seb Loeb was one of her childhood heroes, and now to be lining up alongside him, not as a competitor, but as a teammate, means an awful lot to her. As we move our way down the paddock here, Acciona Science, of course, championship leaders, and we head further up to X44 as well. Of course, the team that Seb Loeb used to race for last season, and he's returned now for a rival team. And team principal Steph Carlin is just outside. I'm going to rudely interrupt this conversation to bring Steph in. Steph, I know Sardinia last time out was a really tricky weekend for X44. How is the approach, the mindset coming into this one now?
I think the mindset's the same as it always is. You always prepare for every event, no matter what's happened before, in the same way. For us, the last event here was really a complete disaster. We had contact, and a lot of things happened completely out of our control, and it seemed like after every session, every race, we were having to make huge repairs to the car. So we start this weekend, car's looking great, team have done a great job. The atmosphere in the garage is actually really, really good. Drivers are positive as well. We made quite a lot of progress. We had a bit of an issue in FP1 yesterday, but we really kind of bounced back in FP2, and hopefully we can just carry on that momentum and go into Q1 this morning pretty strong.
Yeah, great stuff. And it's an exciting course as well with a few tweaks, so we'll see how it all plays out. Thank you very much to you indeed, Steph. Well, here we go then. Our second race of the morning is coming up any minute now. Sit back, relax and enjoy. It is Q1 Heat 2.
Well, we've got cars on the line. You can see from that angle actually how downhill it is. So the line is actually up on a crest, so they dip off downhill. getting ourselves ready for Q1 race 2. And we're going to head down and have a catch-up with Clara Anderson, who is in the command centre, waiting to go and get in the car, of course, after Sebastian Loeb for Apt Cupra Extreme E. Clara, good morning.
Good morning.
How are we doing? We're getting ready for that first race action for you guys. You've seen the first race. What's that told you about how you need to approach this?
I think we're super excited, first of all. We're super happy to be back here in Sardinia. We feel like we have some unfinished business, and we're really looking forward to the weekend. I think the track updates has for sure made it a bit more tricky, but that's also good. You know, we want to see close racing, and I think the first heat now in Q1 really showed that.
So really quickly, who do you think is going to win the start?
Hopefully Seb.
Thanks, Clara. All good. Good luck. Enjoy it. Always smiling.
Thank
Clara
you.
is that
She's so
yeah,
great.
she's mega. She really is.
Minutes,
We're lucky. We got such a great bunch of drivers down there. We really have. So
Yeah.
And the access they give us too. You know, they're so personable when we go straight to the command center. I love that, being able to talk to them directly. You know, already Carlos Sainz, Andreas Backrad, you know, Clara Anderson. There is Clara's teammate, the legend, 9-time World Rally Champion Sebastian Loeb.
Oh, I know. And just be able to talk to her just a few seconds before they're racing. I mean, Clara, does she always have that huge smile on her face? I just love seeing her. She's obviously just absolutely loving being part of Extreme E and being alongside Seb Loeb. Oh, everyone's looking pretty serious.
Yeah,
Look
Timmy
at them.
Hansen,
Oh, yeah.
Johan Kristoffersen. Johan renowned for being able to sleep at any point. So Johan, if he knew he had another couple of minutes, he'd definitely have a little sleep at this point. But right now he's getting ready to go. So yeah, action stations.
Attention all teams, this is race control. Stand by for the start of the Island X Prix. Qualifying round 1, heat 2 is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
So there is Clara now with a crash helmet and a HANS device going on. It's not strictly a HANS device, it's a neck safety device. They've all got different names. You can see they're wearing the ones which are more like a set of straps over your shoulders. Sometimes makes it easier to get in and out of the car than the traditional HANS device, which is what you see in Formula One, which can be tricky when you're climbing in through a door aperture in a hurry in the 45-second switch. Make a big difference the way it is. That is a look at your lineup for this one. So you've got Andretti Altequila at Cupra RXR, we've got X44, and we've got Veloce. All the male drivers are starting this one. This is a Rallycross classic. So you've got Timmy and Kevin Hansen on the outside to the grid. You've got Sebastian Loeb, who of course is mostly known for rally, but did a good few seasons as a factory Rallycross driver with the Peugeot team. Johan Kristoffersen, 5-time World Rallycross champion, and Fraser McConnell, who is a front runner right now in the American Nitro Rallycross series, Nitro Cross as it's known this year. So Fraz has been competing in ARX, America's Rallycross prior to this. He's done support categories at Rally X Nordic. These guys have gone door to door in turn 1 so many times, and it will be no holds barred.
Absolutely. It's all the male drivers to start off 2 laps and then
30 seconds.
into the switch, and where the females will hop into those cars. And you can really feel the tension for this one, can't you? Everyone there in the command centre, ready, loving this split screen as well, being able to see what they're seeing and see a snoop cam on them as well.
Clara with the visor down already, not giving anything away. Now the drivers get themselves ready, reaching forwards for handbrakes, getting the cars good to go on the launch. Wipers are on already for some of the teams. They know what's coming, making sure that everything is set and good to go. Now we get the green light. Everybody gets away this time. Timmy Hansen, they all using Noah hyperdrive straight away. Good start for Timmy Hansen on the inside line, but also for Johan Kristoffersen. Fraser McConnell trying to come down the outside. McConnell looks like he's got it, but he's going to be a right-hander, remember, so he's on the outside line. Can he carry the speed through? Oh, Hansen on 2 wheels. The front comes off through the outside of the bush. Somehow Timmy Hansen held onto the Andretti Altequila machine. Sebastian Loeb looking for a way up the inside. Fraser McConnell has managed to get the whole shot after turn 1, because it was definitely the RXR machine that was leading as they headed into that right-hander, but he got leaned on by Timmy Hansen. We'll figure that out in the replays, but it's McConnell leading. You're on board with Timmy Hansen. That's what the problem is. When you've got the hood coming up, he's going to struggle to see where he's going. He's some 4.8 seconds back, so I wonder if there was some damage. Veloce, Kevin Hansen looking to come past Sebastian Loeb. They're side by side now, Hansen and Loeb. Loeb just going to edge it as they drop through that ditch, and we're coming down now to some of those water splash sections. Let's see how this goes on the first lap. Fraser McConnell goes right-hand side. They've all gone on the right-hand side, so that suggests to me that that's a little bit shallower. On board there with Loeb, and that's what I meant about the water splash itself was fine, but after the water splash comes the mud, and then you really can't see. And look at the difference now with visibility in the back. Loeb looks to the inside line. Side by side again in the background. Fraser McConnell leading. Oh, now, okay, Kevin Hansen. So Kevin Hansen just sliding up in front of Loeb. Loeb's gone off the side of the track. So has Loeb got a problem? On board with Sebastian Loeb now. He's reaching across to the dashboard, trying to change settings. Is it just wipers? But problems for Loeb. He's dropped back off the back.
Gosh, and what a good start from Fraser McConnell there for X44. He's been really putting in some shifts at the beginning. I think you would call it like a McConnell turn or something.
Yeah, the McConnell line.
Yeah.
The McConnell line, yeah. So he made some brilliant passes earlier this year, the sort of thing which you'd expect of someone like Christopherson. Fraz is not as experienced as Johan. Christopherson has a moment himself, gets a bit too sideways. But Fraser has become the full-on professional driver in the last couple of years. He really has. He was leading the Nitro Cross Series after winning round 1 earlier on this year. He won the ARX2 support category a couple of seasons ago. I've been lucky enough to commentate most of his career, and just to see the focus of him, lovely young Jamaican man, and I know his family will be watching back at home. He's just working really hard, and at the minute he's leading the 5-time World Rallycross champion Christopherson.
I know, right? And like being in the paddock with him previously,
yes.
He's such a great guy
he was
to be around.
championship driver, wasn't he, when you were there? Yeah,
exactly. He was championship driver, so he was always, you know, ready to jump in the car if anything happened to anyone else.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Nobody wants to see Emma Gilmore not racing this weekend, but likewise, that's how the opportunities come sometimes for the other drivers. So yeah, Fraz got his first opportunity as championship driver, gets some seat time in the car, on board there, and you get an idea of what the conditions are like. Here's the track map showing they are all still close together except for Andretti, so his Hansen still circulating. You're on board with Christopherson. Nothing through the side windows in terms of visibility. Here's the big water splash again, and again they go right-hand side. There's Johan through, there comes Kevin Hansen and Sebastian Loeb at the back. It's the mud afterwards, so that's the issue. The deep water is fine, then the water goes on the dirt turns to mud, so it's the splat you get after the splash is the problem.
I just can't get over how they're feeling at the moment. You kind of just have to like grimace and bear it, don't you? And like get through that and hope no one comes into the side of you.
Yeah, I mean, they're in full focus race mode at the minute. Mistake there from McConnell, a little bit late on the brakes, and it looked like Christopherson just closed the gap down a bit. Yeah, 0.46, look, so now half a second in it. It's just full focus. You can't control what anybody else does. Yes, you don't want contact, and as I say that, we get it. Christopherson letting Fraser McConnell know that he is right there and ready to go. So McConnell still with just a half-second gap through that left. Oh, that's actually not one of our cameras over, so that's not one we'll be using next time round. That may well be going in the bin. It's, no people stood there. I can reassure you, we don't stand cameramen on Apexes, but yeah, that one's going to need more than a clean.
Yeah, for good reason we don't have camera people out on site. But I mean, Christopherson definitely let McConnell know he was there, all right. It was more than a friendly tap.
Just a little nudge across the back, wasn't it? On the way in now into the switch zone, you want to go as late as you can, 30 kilometres an hour. Kevin Hansen right there as well. So we've got 3 cars within 2.3 seconds of each other. Patrick O'Donovan is in the commentary box for us in Sardinia. Patrick, they're coming into the switch zone now. How easy is it to get in and out of these cars? Because we've seen people rushing to get it done.
You know, I've been in and out of the car maybe 40, 50 times this week, and I'm still struggling. So there's no easy way to do it. You know, you're just climbing through a tiny little hole there. So just really firing yourself out of the car, and you know, the second driver there will be just absolutely jumping in as quick as they can, making sure to get belted up. You know, their second driver will be helping them get belted up before they have to get everybody out of the switch zone before they can get back to racing.
See Fraser there giving Cristina Gutierrez some information about track conditions. I'm sure you and Tamar are obviously doing the job of championship drivers. You guys must share a lot of information too when you're out doing the practice runs.
Yeah, we share a lot of information. You know, she's always keeping a little bit to herself just in case she has to get into the car, I'm sure of it. But you know, it's really a nice situation where you have a partner out there, so you can share as much information as possible, making sure that we can create the best track possible.
Problems for Andretti, Al-Tequila there coming in late. Thank you, Patrick. We'll try and come back to you on lap 2. It's, there's been a lot going on. We thought we might have more time to talk to you there on site. Are you enjoying the job?
I am, yeah. I'm sat here watching some of the racing, so you know, it's pretty exciting. I have my own little office, so yeah, it's great fun here.
Fantastic, thank you, mate. So more from Patrick O'Donovan, male championship driver, later on. Fraser McConnell has handed over to Cristina Gutierrez. Kristoffersen to Arlen Kotlinski. And then Kevin Hansen to Molly Taylor. Molly, remember, was season 1 champion alongside Kristoffersen. Just a little bit more of a gap between them there, 2.4 seconds, but pretty much how they came in. So now, Arlen Kotlinski behind Gutierrez. Gutierrez going super slowly through. Gutierrez is a problem. There's a problem. Gutierrez pulls over. I thought that was really slow. So Gutierrez leading with Fraser McConnell has just pulled the X44 machine over the side of the road. She's on the radio. She's hitting the reset button. In front of her, Molly Taylor, of course, is now all over the back of Arlen Kotlinski because that was in a really narrow section, nowhere to pass. Now Taylor can have a crack at trying to pass Arlen Kotlinski.
So unfortunate for X44. Really want to know what's going on there for Gutierrez. And they're going through the water splash, or the Aqua Grande, as we love to call it here. But this is great for Molly Taylor to be now up alongside Arlen Kotlinski. And this, I mean, we're used to seeing such drivers go head-to-head, but Arlen Kotlinski really wants to win this one, won't she? They're so dominant here in Sardinia.
They need that point. So don't forget, Acciona Sainz got a point for winning the first race. If RXR can take a point here, you know, every single point counts. So that won't be lost on them. It won't be a point at all, you know, at any cost, because there's the double header to come. You've got to keep the car in one piece for tomorrow, basically. Clara Anderson was close as well. Timing shows she's 4.4 back. So that issue for X44 on the narrow, if that had happened anywhere else, it wouldn't have Constantina the pack up. But because of where it happened, where it's so narrow, at first I thought there was maybe a slow zone in place for some reason, because she just completely dropped off. Tracking map shows me that they're at a standstill. So X44 at a standstill between waypoint 2 and waypoint 3. You can see it now on screen bottom right there. Gutted for Gutierrez after McConnell came in the lead. The X44 machine has unfortunately ground to a halt.
She looks absolutely gutted.
No,
and the Katie
Munnings as well. So Munnings is out of the car too. This is a disaster. This is a disaster.
Just looks like the cars are totally stopped. We don't know what's going on there just yet. And as soon as we do have that information, we'll let you know.
Most importantly is that all our championship front runners have not had a shocker. So we've got Acciona Sainz won the last one. RXR are leading this from Veloce. Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing had a decent run last time as well. Incident involving cars 6 and 23 is noted. So that is between... Okay, so sorry. Okay. Now I'm totally lost because I was looking at the timing screen. RXR are going slowly. Veloce have come through.
Yeah,
what
Veloce
is
just
going on there?
zoomed past on our screens. I thought it was a slow zone.
Okay, there's nothing on our timing screen to suggest there's a... there is slow zone at waypoint 8. And then they're saying a slow zone at waypoint 2. Okay, there's some confusion here. So we've got messages. Right, so we've been told by race control that the slow zone was cleared in time. It's probably where Munnings is stopped out on track. The X44 machine is going again. So apparently that zone was cleared and they didn't need to back off, but that information obviously hasn't made it to the drivers, so we'll have to have a look at the replays for that. There's the X44 machine parked to the side of the road. 2 slow zones. At one point we had one at waypoint 2 and one at waypoint 8, which is, as I say, almost certainly for the 2 cars that were retired. But either way, Clara Anderson for Abt Cooper is out front, and assuming that slow zone was clear when she came through, this is a brilliant result. That's the strangest race I think we've ever seen in Extreme E. But Clara Anderson, with her teammate Sebastian Loeb having taken the wheel for the first one, the teams were aware. Apparently they were told by race control that it was clear.
Yeah, well, I mean, this would be an absolute result for Abt Cooper. And apparently they were definitely told that it was clear. And so Anderson obviously just took good note of that. She's a diligent woman, you know. We saw she was ready beforehand. Yeah.
Came flying through this. When I looked up as a safe and timing to think, I was like, okay, why have we got 3 cars going totally different speeds? But that's it. Anderson takes it for Abt Cooper. Taylor comes over the line in P2 for Veloce. And the RXR machine is still out on track, not far behind. Here comes Michaela Arlen Kotlinski. Not a disaster for them, but it is a point to the... And she hasn't used her hyperdrive according to our graphic. So if that's the case, that would be a problem, because I think there's a penalty associated with not using it. But there is a lot to unpick from that one in the strangest possible way.
Yeah, such a bizarre race. I mean, X44 came in as leaders with RXR not far behind, and then we end up with Apt Cupra, Anderson, who weren't even in the mix to begin with, winning, storming past when others thought it was maybe still a slow zone. I really want to chat to them, see what was going on, what was going through their head, what information did they have?
Laura, I'm sure, will be able to catch up. Here comes Clara Anderson, who from the look at her face, might be wondering what's going on, but we might be able to catch up with Clara's teammate, I think. She's she's getting radio calls, I reckon.
Yeah, do you think she's maybe a bit worried that they're going to get a penalty?
Yeah, when you're in the car and it's hectic and you get told information at the last second about what it is, you just do your best to translate that into what do I do now from a sporting point of view, from a competition point of view. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Michaela, they're not looking too happy, looking a little bit down. I mean, let's wait and see.
Right, we're going to head down and have a catch-up with Sebastian Loeb. Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski shaking her head, but I'm sure somebody who's not going to be shaking his head is this man, Sebastian Loeb. That is a win from P3, but can you tell us what on earth was going on? Because I must say, here in the commentary box, there was passing and slow zones and slow zones cancelled. What happened from your point of view?
No, I was not in the car at this time, but I was in the center. And what happened? I think it was an information for a yellow flag, so it means we have to drive at the pit speed, which is 30 km/h. And finally, this zone disappeared, and we were quicker to react, to say to Clara, go on, don't stop. And I think the other stopped, and they took some time to react, to understand that the pit speed was the yellow flag was off, and so they lost some time for this. We were lucky, I have to say. The team made a great job because my race was tricky. The start was not amazing, and after that my wiper stopped in the water splash, and I lost completely the visibility. So we were far away, and finally we won the race. So I have to say thank you to the team and to Clara. They did a great job.
Right, that's how you win some, isn't it? You know, you get good luck, you get bad luck, and this time it's gone your way. And it is important, isn't it, with this new racing format, to get 2 good results in qualifying. So that's a great start to your weekend.
Yes, sure. When I was in the car, in the 4th position after the start, I was not so happy, and finally to have these good points after the first quali is important to try to secure to enter in final. So we will try to do a good job, but for sure, sometimes we are unlucky. This time we were a bit lucky.
Nice one. Yeah, good start, Sebastian. Thank you very much. Well done, and the best of luck for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much.
All smiles from Sebastian Loeb, and I'm not surprised. I say you win some, you lose some, and on that occasion he said it. I was here in the command centre. We were quicker to get to Clara and say don't lift. Clara, of course, was also further back down the road, meaning that they maybe had that little bit more time to tell them. Results of qualifying 1, race 2. DNF, unfortunately, for Andretti Altequila, and another one for X44 from the lead. RXR were leading, then the confusion with the slow zone dropped them down to P3. Veloce gets second, and the winners from P3, halfway through that second lap of the second run, Apt Cupra.
I know. I mean, and RXR are not used to being down in the middle of the pack here at Sardinia. But the Apt Cupra, I mean, what a great start for them. I mean, and beginning with, we saw Clara. We heard from Laura as well about how excited she was to be driving alongside one of her heroes. And this is the qualifying points so far. So at the top, you've got 10 points for a win.
I think that's not quite right, because that's showing RXR as winning their race, and they didn't, the winners of the second race. So we'll take another look at that in a minute. Ekstrom and Sands definitely with 10 points for their race win, but the second race was won by Apt Cupra, so that will be Loeb and Anderson who topped that table. But not at the minute. We'll get it corrected. We'll come back and have another look at it later. Cars rolling back into the paddock. There's Timmy Hansen, and in the background Kenneth Hansen, that's Timmy's dad. So 14 times European Rallycross champion, or 14 championships to his name. There's a book written about him, in fact, with the same title. There, oh, the rear left off, look.
Yeah.
So remember, it was Timmy, wasn't it? We haven't seen. I don't think we've seen the start again yet. Timmy was up on 2 wheels in turn 1, leaning, we think, out on RXR. Then Fraz got into lead. Look at Timmy. He's really disappointed.
Yeah, he's really gutted. I mean, it seems like a long time ago, that, doesn't it? Here we go.
Right, this is off the start. So you're on board on the right hand. Actually, both these shots are Timmy Hansen. So down towards turn 1, look. He knows Johan's on his left. He's going to go deep. He backs the car in. 1 big bounce. Look at that. Look on the wheel. 4 huge inputs on the wheel there to try and keep the car going in a straight line. Wow. And did he not? So did he take a tyre off the rim with that moment? I think he might have done. Looking at the steering inputs, I think he's already got a tyre off the rim at that point. Yeah, look at the amount of steering he's having to put in. So this is on board with RXR. So that's them in the slow zone, just getting blasted. Probably thinking, what's going on? But as we say, it had been cleared. But this is exactly the sort of thing I have to say that the teams will appeal. You know, they'll be straight off to the stewards going, oh, you didn't tell us fast enough. And I get it if they feel the communication. We're Race Control, there's Katie Munn as well. Race Control said that they told everyone at the same time. The only thing I can think is, were those 2 front cars a bit closer to that waypoint when they found out about it? Did At Cooper have longer? But I think Race Control are well switched on enough to have gone, we're too close to it, we can't call it. They would have called it early enough to know that absolutely everybody would be able to react to that information. So there is the Andretti Autokila machine being pulled back to the paddock. There's a fair bit of work to do on that one. Got to get that repaired in time for Q2. So this is a replay of the start. Look, watch for Timmy Hansen, far left of your screen, Andretti Autokila, and then you got in the middle Johan Kristoffersson, also Fraser McConnell in the X44, green and yellow on the outside. So Fraz has gone wide. At this point he's ahead, but because it's a right-hander, he tries to back it and come around. Timmy bounces over the rut on the inside. Look at that, Fraz actually goes inside RXR. We were watching Andretti Autokila come around the outside of the bushes. And indeed, the car is damaged. Look, you can see he's had the tyre off the rim. So Timmy Hansen's lost the tyre off the rim in that turn 1 incident. So they're gone immediately at that point. He dragged it round for a bit, possibly to try and not get a DNF, which is, okay, what's here? Is that outside the course, or is that the different? No, it's not. It's not outside a waypoint. It's an alternative line from Veloce. That was impressive. Kevin Hansen trying to find a way, so they might have spotted that, but now all the other teams will have spotted it as well. You do get that. Drivers and teams look at a line and go, I think we can use this. Sebastian Loeb was the master of it here a couple of years ago in the Continental Traction Challenge. There was a straight line that him and his team spotted with X44 when he was driving for them, and they just straight lined it and set some incredible times.
Well,
so
I mean, and
that's
this
been given away. Look at that moment for Johan as well. There's some tricky places on this course.
Yeah, and this is a different course than when we were last here in Sardinia, so there are going to be some slightly different lines that teams and drivers are going to be taking here on board with Kristoffersson. Oh, flying over there. It was so close between RXR and X44. They're just giving him a little push, and you see the bodywork falling off the back of the X44 car.
So we're hearing nothing in terms of investigations from Race Control at the minute. So I think it might go the other way. I think it might be the teams coming in and saying that they want to have another look at things. Look at the little handle on the insert there. That's to enable them to pull that insert out. You see the little blue handle on the side of the insert. You can see actually Gutierrez uses it to hold on, but that's if she's in the car first. You don't have to try and get your fingers down the side of the seat. You grab the handle and you just whip the insert out, which makes for a faster changeover.
Yeah, and you can see that obviously different sized drivers need different
Well, Kristoffersson and Arlen Kotlinski are the most obvious. The height differential between them. Johan's tall. He's taller than me.
Tall.
He's taller than me. Yeah. So he's This was the moment, look, where X44 checked up because they had that problem. So RXR are leading. Look how far back At Cooper are. This, I think, must be lap 3. You can use the QR code, by the way, bottom right of the screen if you want to find out more about the series. Okay, now that's one of the water splashes. Where's this slow zone? I don't think we're going to see it. I think by now.
It might have just been a communication from her own team. Do you know what I mean? That she didn't get the comms to it. Maybe they all found out at the same time, but then they didn't communicate it. We're going to find out. But there's something that was going on there that Michaela Arlen Kotlinski didn't know she could go any faster during that point.
Okay, so counter-sin is one of the initiatives which Extreme E has going on. You can make steps yourself to help out with the environmental issues. Jess, you're very much into your sustainability and things as well. So count us in. Have a look at that and see what you can contribute yourself.
So we're out here in Sardinia and we're cycling to the race site. It's all part of the Counter-Sin challenge. So Counter-Sin is where you can take a step to live a bit greener and a bit more sustainably, and you can pledge your votes towards your favourite team. So we're cycling to work.
And we've got some especially cool bikes here, electric mountain bikes. It's going to be perfect. We're going to enjoy this.
Let's go.
So why are we doing this? Well, it's a great alternative instead of taking your petrol car. Actually, 40% of all car rides are shorter than 4 kilometers. So it's a great alternative to do something good for the planet.
And look this fashionable as well is an added bonus. But it's a great way to get from A to B for somewhere local that you don't need a car and you can take your bike and get all those benefits of being outside. Now we're going to head back to the track.
It's actually my first time trying an electric bicycle.
It was awesome to kind of see Sardinia in a different way. I enjoyed it.
Join us for a more sustainable future.
And you can see these green icons above the site here in Sardinia. Some of these things, what they mean, the one with the knives and forks means that everyone has to bring their own cutlery to site. No single-use plastic is allowed. You can see a little sun one up there. On site, they generate their own energy. So they use the power from the sun to create solar energy. We've also got, and then shortly, we're going to be going to an interview on site. I think Laura is with Katie on site, and there's just some of the things that are going on in Sardinia.
Well, such bad luck for Andretti Artequila, and Katie Munnings joins me now. Katie, talk us through what happened. We saw a real chat between Timmy and the rest of your team looking back at the footage.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a disaster for us to start the weekend like this. I think off the start, I guess Q1, I think Timmy was on the inside line, and then he thought he'd have a bit more room at the apex than was available. He's not sure where the damage comes from. You know, they had contact, but it's quite a lot of damage for what was there, really. So obviously, yeah, it's a massive consequence for today with the format. It means that you're kind of out for the day, really, because every qualifying session counts, and obviously a DNF is it's pretty much done.
And given the contact at the start, are you considering an appeal at all?
I don't know. I mean, I think I haven't really seen much of the footage, to be honest. Not from in-car anyway. I think he kind of expected for that, to be given a bit more room from Rosberg, who obviously were slightly further ahead, but Timmy was also there on the inside, and I think that's where it happened. I don't think there'll be an investigation. There's nothing on the screens at the minute. But yeah, it's definitely not the way that we wanted to go. Hopefully the car is fixable. I'm not sure. I think the guys are still checking it over. Hopefully it's fixable and we'll be able to get out. But as I say, you're kind of fighting in a lost place at the minute because there's nothing there's no way to progress from here for today.
Sorry, Katie, not what we wanted to see for you guys this morning. Thank you for chatting with us. Appreciate it.
Bless Katie. She wears her emotions fully on her, if you say on the sleeve, but it's on the face. And I get it. They all want to win. So what Katie is saying, short version, is you need 2 good results to get through to the grand final. And because you can't make it up from the redemption race, it's not like last year where if you won the crazy race, you go through to the final. You can't recover a bad day, and that's what they all find so disappointing. There's Hansen up on 2 wheels. I'll tell you what, they were lucky that landed just to the left of the bush. It probably would have gone through the bush. We don't want that, obviously. But here it is on board with Timmy again. Look at the rear angle from his onboard, and we might see the angle he gets. Watch this. So look at the right-hand side of your screen. You'll see the angle he gets up to. That is extraordinarily close to going over, and Fraser just grabs the opportunity with both hands to slot to the right-hand side. So the contact between Andretti Artequila and RXR slows Johan down a bit. Here you are on board with Fraser, sorry. Yeah, so Fraz, look at there. So actually RXR looking up on 2 wheels as well, and Fraz just drives straight past.
Yeah.
They were watching in Jamaica, by the way. They've just messaged and said big up from Jamaica, but they're going back to bed because it's 3 a.m. Fair enough.
Good on Fraser's parents.
Wherever you're watching in the world, that's fine. So this is the Zenith Dream team, so it gives you an idea of who the fastest drivers are, left and right hand side. Leah Block, it looks like, has got the fastest lap of the female drivers. That is absolutely brilliant. So At the minute, it would be an all-American affair. It would be Tanner Faust and Leah Block, who would be your Zenith Dream Team with the fastest laps of the race. So that's your ideal pairing for that last session. Let's take a look at where we are in today's proceedings. So that, you can see on the left-hand side, is the results of the races. So the points in the second one aren't quite right there, as I say, but that's how they go through into the qualifying 2. So basically, the odds go to one race, the evens go to the other, and that means that we get different drivers racing each other in Q2. So will be a great qualifying 2 later on today. You'll be able to catch up with that, along with all the action, of course, in the Redemption race and the Grand Final as well, to see who wins round 7 of Extreme E 2023. We'll see you later on today to round off this one.